So here we are. Good morning. Stand. Let's think about our posture. I am going to start feet up to top and back down again. So feet align. So feet in a straight line, turn toes out, heels out. Think more about the pressure through the big and second toe, okay? That's the first bit. Then think about the arches. So Pat's got this nifty little device where she's going to be switching from camera 1 to camera 2, which is hilarious. So other screen, Pat, so you need to be looking at the other line. Okay. So, and the idea behind this is that we are just trying to get us set up for working independently as best as possible. But I want you to think about what the legs look like and what the feet look like when we set up accurately. Arches lift, and you can see in the camera that as soon as I start to lift up through the arch, there's like a natural spiraling upwards towards the pelvis. So that's the first bit. So relaxing off the toes, but feeling the weight and pressure equally distributed between big toes, baby toes, and heels. So that's the next thing you need to think of. If you're all in the front of the foot, we're not quite set up correctly, so we need to settle backwards, feel the weight equally distributed between heel, big toe, little toe. And you can set my phone up as well if you like for me. Right, so we got that. Then what happens is we go through the cycle, switching cameras, we are going all the way up the pelvis and lengthening up the pelvis. So there's almost like a little micro bum tuck. Okay, and by doing that, we go longer. We brace through the center through the belly, shoulders back and down. Right, that's us. Yeah, we've got that so far, so good. First things first, let's just lower and lift shoulder blades. Drawing the shoulders towards the ears. Okay, now bring your hands to your sides, lift and lower shoulder blades. That should feel slightly different. Okay, now watch. We're going to take the arms forward to the front of the thighs, backwards to the back of the booty. So we go forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. Got it? Okay, so this is all about just getting some movement into the shoulders. Bring your hands up to collarbone height, and we're just going to open and squeeze the shoulders and then cross. So open, bend elbows, cross. Open, cross, open, cross. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a squeeze through the boobs and then a squeeze through the shoulder blades. Right. Okay, now I want you to take your left hand onto your right shoulder and just open up and down. So opening and closing through the arms. So just working on the rotator cuff for a moment, bracing through the center, lifting through the arches of the feet. Lovely, and switch sides. So by palpating, just have your fingers there on the front of your chest. You should be able to feel the muscles twitching and responding to the movement as you open and close. Okay, now from there, we bring the elbows together and we send both elbows and hands and arms, forearms up nice and skyward. At the same time, we're pulling in through the belly and really reaching up. Really focus on getting the elbows as high as you can and get your elbows touching together at the same time. Lovely. Okay, and then release. Take the hands behind you, palms shine away. We're going to squeeze and just start to wood chop the hands towards each other. So straight arms. So it's really easy to bend the elbows here. We want straight arms, lift and lengthen through the torso, and we are just popping those hands, crossing those hands over. Okay, roll the shoulders. Right, so hopefully we're starting to get that nice lubrication into the chest, into the upper body. Now we're just going to gentle movements, sliding down the seams of the body. Bring the feet together so the arches are still lifted. Your butt cheeks are still feeling tight and engaged. Your hips feel engaged. So actually you're engaging those core muscles as you're sliding down side to side. Oh, lovely. Okay, now here's the change. One arm up, slide it down the body. lean it up, lean it up. Okay, so all of this is just like releasing. Okay, next change, got it? Right, so from here, just have a little wiggle jiggle through your hips just to release off your back a little bit. And then we're going to just pulse out the hip one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do the same on the other side. So just push out. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to repeat that. So to explain myself, this is actually working your, it's called the QL muscles that sort of sit in your low back, out of your pelvis and into your ribs, okay? So all I'm trying to get you to do is shunt the hip out, 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 push, because this helps us just release off the QL, which can go really tight. And then the same on the other side. Now I already made the squeaky noise because my QL is always tight. On one side, fine, other side, so good. Okay, lovely. Right, round out through the back and shoulders, sweep your arms forward along the horizon. Drop your arms, lift your chest, look up, squeeze your butt, send your arms back. Chin to chest, release and store. Lengthen up, send your arms back. So there's a bit of a bum squeeze, and we're looking at flexion, extension as we move through this. Just this lovely plane. Just each time, just really increasing the stretch into the back. Each time, really thinking about the stretch out to the front. So it's a lovely balanced movement here. Good. We're moving down, so top to toe as instructed. All I'm asking for is a little sweep of one leg. So now what's happening is we start to incorporate balance into our work. So static knee, slightly bent as you're sweeping and sending that lovely, creating that lovely circle. Okay, it's all very well and good until you switch sides. Now remember the direction you went in, okay? Okay, switch sides, start small, make it bigger, create that circle. Notice any changes. Is one side stronger than the other? Is one side got more stress in the movement than the other? Okay, switch. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction. So down, around and up. The hip joint is designed to do this. The balance is the challenge. I have this stupid neuroma in the ball of my foot. So I feel like I'm just constantly dangling around it and my balance is just off on the ball of my foot. Okay, switch sides. So back first. Lovely. Okay, now we go slightly wider, so wider than hip width. Think about the arches. So straight away we're going whoop, nice and pulled out through the arches, but feel the weight is still equal in your feet. From here, I just want you to just put our hips side to side. Just a little bit. And as you do that, we're slowly releasing some tension into the groin. Okay. Now, can you go deeper? Can you stick your booty out a little deeper? Now, at the moment, you're just in a just slightly wider than neutral position. So now we're going to go a little wider again. Same thing. Bend one knee, feel the weight into the heel, lift the toes, enjoy that lengthening, and then we switch sides. Ooh. And then we switch sides. Ooh. If you want to, you can start to take your hands closer to the ground, or you might feel that you're a bit more comfortable, more of an upright position. You don't have to rush with this. Okay. Hands to ground. Hands to ground. Relax your head and just fold. I would suggest straighten off your elbows and create a flat back. Give yourself a moment. This is enabling your hamstrings just to stretch off. And the next thing is to drop your head. Relax your arms and just stay there as you stretch out through your back for a moment. Okay, right. Okay, team, so we're going to bring our knees down onto the ground, shins onto the ground. And it's a good job you don't have like these internal microphones, because you could hear every joint in my body pop in and click in. Okay, so the reason I'm just keeping you on your shins for a second is just so you can get a bit of stretch out around the knee joint. Then we're going to come into a 90-90 hip mobilization. Now we started doing it hip mobilization as we drew circles in standing. You need more of this. We need to release off more around the hip joints. Okay, so first position, yeah? Just settle with it. And it might be that your knees feel a little bit high. So just for a minute, just work on just gentle presses down of the front left knee. If your feet are pointing onto the right side, front left knee, just press down. And again, you might feel that kicking into the back a little. Okay, so to change this, we flip over. I'm just working on the space of the room here. I notice that my legs are switched to the left. My right feels quite high. I can feel that in my back. I'm just going to press down a little on the right side. And it's easy to become really comfortable because we know what we know. We favour a side always. So we've got to think about building that strength and finding that balance. So we need to bring up maybe the weaker side. Right, okay, so here's the change. So we go with a wide foot placement. We're going to take the knees down onto one side, sit up onto it, take the knees over to the other side and sit up onto it. So again, what you might find here are those little niggles that aren't feeling quite right. I know, again, I feel it on one side very comfortably, the other side, so is where I'll find an excuse not to do this side. I'm going to just keep working through that. So what happens in a second is this. As I drop the knees to one side, I'm going to bring the chest down and stretch the arms. Release, come up, come over, and then lean into it again. So we're obviously all working out of our front rooms. That's what it feels like in here today. Okay, so that's our start, right? I've managed to wiggle jiggle and move my mat all over the place. Right, okay, so sitting up on your sitting bones, left knee, left foot tucks under, right foot is forward. So first thing, I want you up on your hip on your left bum cheek. Does that make sense? So you're not sat over both, you're lifted up, okay? You're gonna lift and bring the leg around and then bring it forward again. Got it? So just watch. So my right foot lifts, it sweeps towards the back and then it sweeps forward. Lift, sweep back, bring it forward. Okay, you've got 2 more rounds of that. What you're doing is actually building strength here to lift the leg. right? Got it? Okay, switch sides. So on the other side, same thing. Oh, we start with the left foot forward, right leg tucked under. It's a lift, send it back, lift, bring it forward. Start to be conscious that your lower abdominals are creating that lift. They were doing it all along, but now we're really connecting the position here. Well done. Bring both feet forward. Connect the soles of the feet. Hold on to the ankles if you can, and just do a little rock side to side. Again, important to do this because fascias run right the way through the body. When we do this side to side, it just helps around the pelvic floor. And also helps with just creating a bit more of a stretch into the groin. Okay, are we good? Take your hands behind you, turn your fingers away from you. Lift up your chest. Okay, and I just want you for a second just to sit here and focus on squeezing the chest together. The chest, the shoulder blades. Okie dokie. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling nice and mobile and we've got you going. Now let's have a look at how we can really look at bringing in some deep core work. Okay, so first things first, we think about foot alignment. So if you can, and you're not too tight in the hips and thighs, try to bring your feet hand width apart and the same distance at your knees, okay? If you want to, pop your hands onto your shoulders. We're going to just start with a rounding of the back or a C shape with the spine. And then from there, we're going to pull forward, lift up, really squeeze your shoulder blades together and send your chin high. Chin to chest, round out through the back, create that C shape. Think about the alignment in the knees and then start to rise up to the top and then down. So each time as you do this, we try to make it bigger and really work on it, just opening up the movements. Lovely C shape. Lovely squeeze of the shoulder blades. Okay, now I want you to slowly roll all the way down. Full body stretch for me. And then just shake off your knees. Shaky, 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 shaky. Stretch your arms overhead. Shaky, 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 shaky. Right. Hands to your side. Let me just check. You can see me okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So bring your heels to your bottom. Simplifying movements. It's a lift, a lower, and a lower. Okay. And we're going to do this for a little while. We're going to think about that engagement through our center, stretching your hands forward. So we're not just relaxing the arms. There's engagement in the shoulder blades. There's engagement in the back of the arms as you stretch the arms forward. Taking the weight into your core muscles. Breath in, breath out. Inhaling, exhaling. As you bring the foot down on the next exhalation, you barely touch the ground. Inhaling. So the breath in is the preparation, the exhalation is the lift, or the exertion. So breathing in, breathing out as you float the legs down or float the legs up. And taking your time to really go back to it, really think about the tension on into your center. And what you might be experiencing is little mini earthquakes where the core muscles are really trying to activate and work well here, okay? Okay, when you can now, we're up, stay up. So whilst you're up, let's have a look at what's going on. I'm just going to adjust the microphone a little bit. Right. Okay, so we're maintaining tabletop at the top of the move. What I want you to do now is think about the upper back. So chin to chest, and just try and work on lifting your shoulder blades off the ground. Breath in, breathe out as you lift. And the reason being that the lungs are more deflated, so you can get a greater lift. Inhaling as you're lowering down. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Well done. Exhaling. Stay up. Hold it here. Bounce the arms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn. 15. 20. That's right. 30 coming up. 40 coming up. If your neck is tired, just turn your head to one side and then the other. 50 coming up. 60 coming up. And I'm missing the world too. 70 done. 30 to go. We're on our way home. Ready? Last 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax down. Drop your knees to one side and then the other. Okay, now that's interesting. I'm quite tight in my back from a lot of gardening this weekend. And I used to be able to drop my knees right the way to the floor when I turn my knees in, and now I can't because they're really super mega tight. So let's put some time into that. With the last exercise, we were flexing and short and tight. Now we're asking you to be lengthening in the same muscle group. So by dropping your knees side to side, we're just getting an extended stretch out of the hip flexors. Really go nice and long here. If I remember, I'll do a bigger stretch on this at the end of the session. Okay, so the feet again, try to bring them close in. So again, a hand width between feet and the same through knees. We're just going to start just doing some lovely little roll-ups, up through the back, up through the spine. Now at the top of the movement, I want you to squeeze through the bottom. So, because what will happen is you'll roll up to a place and then there's normally a sticking point. So this is when your glutes have to kick in just to get you over that threshold. So we're lowering down, rolling through the pelvis, rolling up through the pelvis and coming to the top of the move. So it's simple spinal articulation. So let's close the eyes as you perform the movement. At the top of the lift, press into your heels. So that really gives you that extra lift and push through. Then we roll back down. So hopefully that should feel really nice there. And at the top of the move now we stay. You're going to let go of one hip. And then you're going to clench it and press it high. Let go the other side. And then clench it nice and high. Here we go. So we drop and lift and drop and lift. Drop and lift. Ooh. Lift and drop. One side only, one cheek and squeeze, other cheek and squeeze. Okay, now both cheeks together, tiny, weeny, little presses. Now you may start getting quite a bit of load into the back now. We're going to hit 20, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Okay. To counter that, we then draw the knees into chest, bring your knees up towards your chest, rather than chest towards your knees, if that makes sense. So really work on bringing your thighs up your body and squashing your thighs onto your body. Okay, now from there, we are going to stretch the legs. Straighten them off. Hold on to the back of the thighs if you can. Whew. Okay, flex and point through the toes. Well done. Lovely. Okay. Do you remember when we used to do these lovely baby poses, happy baby poses? We're going to have a little work on that for a moment. Left foot into the left arch, left hand into the left inside arch if you can, whatever that looks like, all right? Now, you can use a band or a strap to assist the movement if you need to, and we start to move into it. So what I'm looking for is holding on to the arch of the foot and then try to send the arch of the foot towards the ceiling, okay? So a little bit of movement around the knee joint. It helps us to stretch into the shoulder as well and stretch out through the elbow as well. Okay, got that? Okay, release, relax. Other side. So right hand, again, it might take a moment or two just to find the foot. And then we start to create movement. So send the foot towards the left side and then towards the ceiling. Enjoy the stretches. Now the pulling and the stretches, creating that space between the joints, the wrist and the elbow and the shoulder is a good thing, okay? Okay, well done. Now if you can, let's see if we can hold on to both. Okay, so we're going to start. I've hooked my fingers around my big toes. My knees are bent, and that's my starting position, feet nice and wide. Okay, if you want to, you can try and straighten off the knees. Breathe and relax into it. Okay, now if you want to rock side to side, just a few inches either side you can. Okay, we're coming back to center. Okay, and the reason I've just done that, because we're going to do some single leg stretch. And I just need to make sure your hamstrings are just firing nicely for you. Okay, so let's hold on to left knee, hold left shin. Take a breath in and just see if we could just stretch that off for a second. Let the right heel dangle off the floor. Breath in, exhale, switch and hold. So we are pulling the knee into chest. Just relaxing off here. Breath in, exhale and switch. Now I'm holding on to the knee just to really pull in, just to really work on that stretch into the back of the hamstring and switching again, because here's the change. Same movement, but no hand assistance. So 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and 2. Well done. 1 and 2. Lovely. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees into chest. Give yourself a moment. Whew. We good? Just checking, thumbs up from everyone.
Yeah, fine.
Right.
I think it's still up, but yes.
So left leg is extended. Right knee bent. Right foot off the floor into half tabletop. We're going to do some circles. So allow for movement everywhere. So your knee rightly comes up towards your chest, it drops out to the side. For now, be okay that your left hip is rocking, it's going to be okay. Take the foot towards the floor, come back up through the midline. Okay. Now we're going to same movement others in the other direction. Again, this is about that back health, just looking at how we can lubricate between the joints into the back, create that mobility there. Okay, and when you're ready, foot down, switch sides. So your right leg now goes long, your left leg comes back up into its starting position, knee out to the side, up and circle. Got it? Yeah. Okay, now switch direction. And all of it is that lovely joint mobility. Ooh. Well done. Foot down. Both feet nice and wide, knees bent. Just knock your knees in towards each other. Breathe in and stretch your arms overhead and really go long here. So really focus on getting the center of your knees touching. So that's quite a big stretch in and around the hips. So try and breathe and relax into it. Send the arms overhead. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, so I talked about the QL earlier on. In our standing position, I just got you to knock the hips out. Remember that? So we're going to do something similar. Now we're on our side and we're all fired up. So part one, what I'm looking for is the stability in the shoulder. So it's a tendency, because we're not as strong as we used to be in our shoulders, it's really good for us to focus on sinking into it first, which is the position we don't want, and then the press away, so ear out of the shoulder. So that's creating stability on its own. If you don't want to go beyond this, that's fine. The next bit is around working on taking the load into your shoulders. So just be mindful for a second. There is a tendency to want to sort of push with your upper body and sort of rotate and cave in a little. If you do that, that's fine. Really create a strong base to push out of if that's what you need to do. But when we're here, I want the chest open and then the little presses to the ceiling. 7, 6, 5. Now I'm going to throw in a real curveball here. Heels connected, knees separate. 8, 7, 6. Can you see that? 5, 4, 3, 2. Knee comes down, hip comes down. Lie down on your side for a second just to release off your shoulders. So we're going to come back to that combo in a minute. Bottom knee squares up forward, top leg lengthens. Okay, think about your alignment. So the first thing I want you to do is to go so long, so stretch out of your pelvis, send the foot so far forward, the heel on your stretched leg starts to touch the carpet, and you should get, again, that stretch out through the hip and pelvis. Okay, and then we set it. So you can see what I've done here. I've taken your hips from stacked to stretched, so you're getting the stretch out of the hip, the foot's touching the floor, and then you reset back into neutral. Now you're in neutral. This is what we do. We circle 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, switch direction, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, pump the foot, go 8, 7, 6, 5, you're welcome. I know, it's great, isn't it? Ooh, and release, hold. When I say release, I meant hold, hold that. Okay, should we have that little touchdown again? So neutral. So feel that stretch at the hip and pelvis. Lots of things are moving here. And it's shifting all those muscles in your back. Releasing you. Lovely. And then relax. Now you can relax. Okay, so I'm going to come up and over. You can just turn over 180 degrees if you want. And we start with the elbow scenario. Okay, so firstly, cave into the shoulder, then push out of your shoulder. Okay, got it? So that's part one. The next thing is to get your hips off the ground. So you might need your upper body to get you into position. Whoop, and then pulse 8, 7, 6, and 5, and 4, and 3. Here's that cheeky one, remember? Knees. So open and close. Open and close. A little bit of clamage. 4, 3, 2, and release. Come down. Come off your shoulder. So you're lengthening. Ooh. So from here, top knees or both knees bend and come forward. Top leg straightens. And then from neutral, it goes long. So you're pushing out of your hip and pelvis just to get that stretch out of the back. Just play with that for a moment or two. There you go. It's nice, isn't it? So it's a really nice stretch when you're tight in your back or you've done that lifting and shifting. It's definitely, for me, I always see this as like the month of gardening season. Okay, now reset into neutral and we circle 8 and 8 and then little up and down pumps. 5, 4, 3, 2, switch direction, think about everything's tight and engaged. 5, 4, 3, 2, up and down, let's go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold, hold, enjoy that. Let's do that last stretch. So from neutral, out of neutral, get that foot down onto the floor, lovely stretch out through the QL as well. Stretch through the pelvis, lovely. Last time. And then release. Good job, everyone. So from here, we go on to our belly. Okay, my elbows are down, my chest is lifted. I'm stretching out through the front of my abdominals. Part one. Little rocky totty. Just lifting up a little bit. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so what I'm looking for is just little flicks of the legs. All right, it's fairly easy. But to come into position, what I'd like you to do is to take your hands forward. And if you can, just rest your forehead down onto the back of your hands. Bring your legs towards each other. And we're just going to start just alternating. Just right leg, left leg. Just no style yet. I'm not giving any instruction. Just simply think about bending the knees. Okay. Then let's see if we can put a little bit more vigor into it. So it's more of a kick towards your bum. Kick. So this is about speed. There you go. So we're just picking up that speed. Right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. Got it? Now let's see if we can change to a heel. heel. So right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. Got it? Okay. Now, the next bit is the whole of the right leg is going to come off the ground. And then the whole of the left. So we're actually now extending through the hip rather than flexing through the knee. So that bit, for some, takes quite a lot of stress into the back. So just again, you know your bodies, listen to your bodies. Okay, and then from there, we're going to combine these. Now, you've done this with me so many times in the past. We are looking to part one, lift thigh, then bend knee, then come right the way up and over before we come back. So the thigh lifts first, the knee bends second, we come over. Ooh. And that noise was me getting cramp in my hamstring. And again, if your boobs get in the way, modify, adapt. Just enjoy. If you can, you're working towards opposite foot to hand. That's not everyone's cup of tea. So do what you can, but the whole fascia is working and talking to each other right now. Oh, my shoulders feel lovely. Okay, now push up, push back, child's pose. A nice little tip is, I love all child's pose, but I also like to stretch out just for a posture thing, is to bring the tips of the elbows down and then work on just stretching back from the elbows. What you'll find, you'll get more of a really isolated upper back stretch. You might feel this more into your armpits. Okay, obviously not quite, because it's all about pulling it all together at the end of the session. So from here, I need you to come up into down dog. And we're going to hold down dog to plank and just work through that pattern for a little while. Firstly, just lengthen into downward dog. Think about the stretch through the back of the Achilles, the back of the knees. Walk your feet together if you need to. For the purpose of plank, it is actually better if your feet are closer together. So feel the stretch first in your down dog. Then we slowly come forward. Take your time as you come forward into the plank. Squeeze in thighs, ankles, heels, good lines. And then push back into down dog. Come forward. Push back. Eye gaze towards the center of your mat. And then eye gaze just above your fingers. Just do this. We're going to do up to 10 more of these. So that's 5 and 5 before you start panicking. This enables us to build some strength in those wrists, stability in your core, lengthening and stretching through your torso, and that lower body to upper body connection. Done. I think we've got one more, right? When you're ready, bring your knees down. And then I want us to cat-cow, chin to chest. Drop the chest, lift the chin. Arch through the back, chin to chest, lift the back. Lower the chest, lift the chin. Give yourself a bit of a waggle. And then from there, bring yourself into a place of comfort. Right, so from here, let's think about our breath work. We haven't got any blocks, have we? I've thrown out all the blocks. Oh dear. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just find a nice comfortable place, lying down, sitting down, feet up. I don't mind. Let's just focus on the breathing. That's the thing that I just need us all to come back to. Now, if you want to, you can rest one hand up on your heart space, and then another hand on your abdomen. Put some focus into shifting your breathing down into your abdomen. So if you feel like you're breathing high up into your chest, that's indicative that we're not quite there in terms of the stress balance in the body. Another trick here is to think about just relaxing off your pelvic floor too. Sometimes if we're quite tight, which you would be after a Pilates session, you would be naturally quite tight in the pelvic floor. So you're just trying to relax off the tone and relax off the tone balance in the pelvic area. Okay, relax the arms and the shoulders, relax your hands, and you'll notice again how your wrists and your fingers feel. Spend a few moments with your own thoughts, and then park them or move them on. So that means if you keep coming into your own head and not being in this moment, just acknowledge those thoughts and just push them away for a second. This moment is listening to the sound of the space around you, connecting with the temperature in the space around you. Maybe in the distance you can hear different sounds. That's all being now. Maybe you can hear your own rhythm, your own breathing. Being present is so essential to your mental wellness. It helps us all manage our stress better. And use this time to bring in those words of courage and confidence. Now as our affirmations. I'm strong. I'm empowered. Have a great week. This. Whatever this is. Okay, so create some movement back to your hands, back to your wrists, extend your arms. Send your arms overhead. Intertwine fingers, send fingers towards the ceiling. Whilst your palms are pointing towards the ceiling, circle your thumbs. You get an extra special stretch there into your hands. Long, big, fat sides. Stretch your hands out to the side. Send your fingers to the ceiling. Cross one arm over the other, clasp hands. Just give yourself a bit of a wiggle jiggle. Release And then try it on the other side if that's not too confusing. Release, shake off your hands. And bring your hands together into a little circle, little round of applause.